Hello, everyone, and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS video core. Excuse me. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video, Core Pick live stream for today, April 19th. It's a Wednesday. We got an early main slate going on today. So it's going to be a pretty interesting one. Gotten this video out just a little bit earlier than I typically do, just because of starting earlier today as well. But without further ado, what I'll be doing in this video, going over a recap of yesterday's picks, going over the weather spots for today's games overall, going over my core picks on FanDuel. So we'll have one pitcher and four hitters in total. And then going over to the bottom half of my cheat sheet to talk about the top teams that I do like to stack today, just in general. If you guys do have any questions at any point in time, feel free to drop it in the live chat if you're listening live. If you're watching on replay, feel free to leave it down in the comments and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, as the day moves along, I'll try to get as many of those starting lineups out down in the comments as I can get to today. If there's any updates that do happen to the core picks, I'll leave that down there as well as a pinned comment. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. At the pitcher position, we were with Jordan Montgomery. Unfortunately, he got to negative 3 points at $9,500. So not quite the day we were looking for out of him. You know, going against the Arizona Diamondbacks, not the best matchup in the world, but still a decent one. They got a left-handed bat. You think it'd be a favorable matchup for Jordan Montgomery. Unfortunately, did not end up being the case yesterday. He ended up pitching 4 innings, giving up 7 runs. So just was not a good day for him. If you got to some Chris Sale, who was another guy that was in my cheat sheet yesterday, he got to 52 points. So he would have been a very good play there. And if you played him along with some of the other core picks, had a pretty good chance of cashing yesterday. Then at first base, we went to Freddie Freeman at $3,600, got to 9.7 points. Since he did not get double-digit points, did give him a push at the $3,600 price tag. He was the 6th overall first baseman on yesterday's slate, so he still wasn't a terrible play at that. And then at third base, we had Ke'Bryan Hayes, $2,900, got to 15 points, so he was a hit yesterday. He ended up being the 5th overall third baseman, but, 2 through 5 were really close yesterday just in general. And then Yordan Alvarez, who had a really good history in the past, $4,500, got to 9.5. So it did give him a push yesterday since he didn't get up to that double-digit point total that we were looking for out of someone of his caliber at his price tag as well. And then last but not least, we had Chris Bryant at $3,100. Got to 18.7 points. He was the 9th overall outfielder and a hit on yesterday's slate as well. So pretty decent core picks outside of Jordan Montgomery at pitcher. If you had a different pitcher, probably had a decent chance of cashing on yesterday's slate overall. But with that being said, we're going to get out of the core picks for today, or from yesterday, or I'm going to get out of the recap for the core picks for yesterday. Excuse me. Can't talk right now. And we're going to talk about some other spots at this point in time. There does not look like there are any weather spots. So should be pretty good to go weather-wise. If anything does change throughout the day, I'll leave that down in the comments as well. We'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about the core picks that I do have for today's slate overall. So we are going to, let me move this up on the screen just so we can see the pitcher as well. So at pitcher today, it's kind of one of those weird days where nobody like really truly stands out just in general. If you look at my cheat sheet for today, we have Martin Perez going against the Royals, $9,600. Looks like a pretty decent value there. If you want to pay all the way up to Justin Steele, $11,300, you could do it, but it's a little bit of a heavy price tag for him going against Oakland A's. It is an advantageous spot though. Personally, for my core pick for today, ended up on Trevor Rogers at $9,100. Guy that does have a decent amount of upside. He's going against the San Francisco Giants today. Giants are kind of one of these hit or miss teams. Sometimes their offense looks really good. Sometimes it does not. So there is strikeout opportunity here. He's not had a lot of history against the Giants in the past. Looking more like the Trevor Rogers of old than the Trevor Rogers of last year, though. So that is something that is enticing just in general. $9,100. Do like taking that upside swing on him today, just in general. And then the other guy that I did have in the cheat sheet was Taijuan Walker, who's kind of been up or down so far this year going against the White Sox. Could be an advantageous spot, but also could end up being a rough spot as well. So not a lot of pitchers that really do stand out today. If you want to take a shot on Max Scherzer at $10,200 against the Dodgers, it's a good spot for him. Struggled the first 2 starts of the year, everything else like that. Dodgers are a tough lineup. So it's a discount on a price tag, but there is a discount for a reason at the same time. So I would really try to mix and match pitchers today. Obviously, if you are on my Patreon, go over to the MLB DFS notes for the day. If you're not already on there, it's a small monthly donation. Kind of break down the pitchers, whether I would have them in play for today, a risky play, whether I would just flat out avoid them. There's a couple of them today, most notably Madison Bumgarner. So definitely an interesting slate when it comes to the pitching perspective overall. But if you guys do have any additional questions about that, feel free to drop them down and I'll be more than happy to answer them as well. Then, as we're moving down, we're going to get over to the hitters. So we have Paul Goldschmidt, $3,700. Pretty reduced price tag for him at this point in time. Probably should be closer to $4,000. So we're getting a little bit of discount here with him today. He's 26 for 76 versus Madison Bumgarner, who is the starting pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks today. He has 4 career home runs versus him as well. So Paul Goldschmidt's going to be a very good and very popular play today, just overall. With that long history against Madison Bumgarner, obviously we'll pull up some of these game logs for these recent games. Paul Goldschmidt, 328 on the season. Not too much that we have to worry about with Goldschmidt. You pretty much know what you're getting with him on a night in and night out basis. Let's see. There is 3 games all season where he doesn't have a hit. And one of those was a game where he walked twice. So don't really have too many concerns with Paul Goldschmidt just in general, but do love that upside tonight, especially against Madison Bumgarner. And I should say this afternoon instead of tonight. Get used to saying tonight since typically we do have night slates. But with that being said, we're going to move down to Ke'Bryan Hayes. Once again, he's $2,900. He's been hitting the ball extremely well as of late. He's going against Austin Gomber today, who he's 0 for 4 versus in his career, but it's the left-handed pitching. Ke'Bryan Hayes typically hits that left-handed pitching a little bit better. Last game against the lefty, he did hit leadoff as well, so there's some extra opportunities there. Obviously, this game is at Coors Field, and if you look at just the raw numbers for the season, don't look too good for him, but obviously he is on, what is it now, like a 5-game hitting streak, multi-hit games in 2 of those games. He's been double-digit points all 5 of those games. So he's really on that hot streak. Maybe a little bit point chasey, but Coors Field effect. If he's hitting leadoff, a lot of factors that are going to favor him once again today. So do like taking that shot, especially at $2,900. Then we're going to move down to the outfield. We got Riley Green as the first guy here. He's $2,800. He is going against Cal Quantrill of the Cleveland Guardians. He's 2 for 8 versus him in his career with 1 home run. And Riley Green's been hitting the ball pretty well as of late. So definitely do like attacking him today. $2,800, not a bad price tag whatsoever. So some of these recent games here, we got double-digit points in 3 out of the last 4 games, 4-game hitting streak. He had 1 game that he had an offer in there, but he's really hitting the ball pretty well as of late. So do like taking that shot on Riley Green as kind of that cheaper option at $2,800 today. Does offer some upside as well, and he's got a little bit of history versus Cal Quantrill as well. And then last but not least, we got Juan Soto, $3,500. He's 4 for 5 with 1 home run versus Charlie Morton, who's starting for the Braves today. That's pretty much as good a history as that you're going to get, especially in a 5-game or a 5 at-bat sample size. So do like Juan Soto quite a bit today. Obviously, a little bit up and down throughout the season. The 175 average is a little bit concerned there, but I like taking that shot today. Obviously, you got some over games in here that's cold slump, but he's got a hit yesterday. So hopefully he's kind of turned that back around once again. But do like the upside that he presents. It's a cheaper price tag than you're going to get Juan Soto at most times throughout the season. Guy that's got good history in the past. So just taking a little bit of chance there, probably more of a GPV play than like a cash game play or anything else like that. But like the upside that he does present overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $13,000 remaining, just over $3,200 per player. So a lot of room to mix and match guys that you want to play from there. A lot of decent pay down options today. Wilson Contreras at catcher is another interesting one at $2,400, but there's a lot of good catcher first base options today. If you're on the DraftKings side today, you can play Wilson Contreras. You can play some of these first basemen together. But if you guys have any questions related to that, I will definitely answer them down in the comments. But primarily for me, for the MLB side, focus on the FanDuel side, just because 2 different platforms, 2 very different scoring formats, and the double pitcher versus the single pitcher and everything else like that. But with that being said, that's kind of the core picks that I do have for today. We're going to stop sharing the screen. We'll go over to the cheat sheet and talk about the top stacks that I do have for tonight's slate overall. Or I should say this afternoon slate. I did that once again, since we are mainly the afternoon slate just in general. If you guys have any questions about tonight's slate, I started doing some research for that as well, since didn't know exactly which slate was going to be the main slate for today. So I got a little bit of research going for that as well. If you guys want that up on Patreon, I can throw that over there as well. But in terms of the top stacks that I do have for today, we got the Detroit Tigers going against Cal Quantrill of the Cleveland Guardians. Tigers actually have hit him pretty well in the past. not a lot of days that we're going to see that we're going to stack this Tigers team overall. But if you want to do it, today is going to be one of the days to do it. You got Riley Green, you got Eric Haase, you got a couple other guys in there that have decent history versus Quantrill in the past. Quantrill's not been the greatest so far this season either. So don't mind stacking Detroit as a kind of contrarian stack overall today. Then we have the St. Louis Cardinals, which is going to be probably one of the more popular stacks just in general today, going against Madison Bumgarner. He's not the pitcher that he once was. Obviously, he is the cheapest salary price pitcher on tonight's slate overall. Typically doesn't even pitch 6 innings at that. A lot of these guys do have really good history versus him in the past, whether it's Paul Goldschmidt, Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado, Tommy Edman, you name it. There's a lot of them that have him pretty well in the past. Even in my cheat sheet, I threw Tyler O'Neill down there too, because at $2,600, he's a pretty good value as well. Although he doesn't have quite the history against Madison Bumgarner, but do like the upside that he presents as well. Then we get over the Padres, who are going against Charlie Morton. A lot of these hitters have hit him pretty well in the past, whether it's Xander Bogaerts, Juan Soto, a couple other guys here and there that have hit him pretty well. I think Nelson Cruz is another one, but definitely be sure to check out those MLB DFS notes on Patreon. They got them all listed out there. Padres definitely a team that I like to stack. And then on the opposite end of the game, the Braves as well. Going against Nick Martinez, a lot of these guys have hit him pretty well in the past, whether it's Ozzie Albies, whether it's Matt Olson, whether it's trying to think who else has hit him pretty well. Marcelo Ozuna is another one, but he really hasn't hit the ball at all this year. So probably not going after him today unless you want to be super contrarian. But that's kind of what I do have in terms of the top stacks for today. Hopefully you guys found all this information pretty useful. But that's pretty much what I do have in terms of the MLB DFS core picks for today. As always, if you guys have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, if you have a favorite play of your own, be sure to list it down there as well. Definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say. And then, as always, if you are brand new to my channel, then as always, if you are brand new to my channel, checking it out for the first time, definitely would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we got MLB DFS going on. We got some XFL DFS as well as USFL DFS, but those are both over on DraftKings. So if that's something you're into, definitely be sure to check out those videos and those live streams as well. Also got some NFL draft prospect interviews up on the channel. So if that's something that you're also interested in as well, learning about some other NFL draft prospects, especially some guys going under the radar, be sure to check out those videos as well. Definitely would appreciate it. And then with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below so you never miss a beat when I go live for a live stream. If you miss out on a video, pre-recorded video, anything else like that, definitely be sure to check that out. And with that being said, that's really all that I do have for today's video, for today's live stream. Definitely do appreciate everyone that did take the time out of their day to tune in, whether you're watching live or on replay. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope that each and every one of you has a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS tonight as well.